Racing to learn more about a new COVID variant already setting off alarm bells around the world.
According to South African scientists, the Omicron variant has more than 50 mutations and is likely to be more transmissible.
It has a bunch of mutations, a disturbingly large number of mutations in the spike protein, which is the business end of the virus.
The COVID-19 vaccines target the spike protein. If the spike changes too much and in the wrong way, it could make the vaccines less effective.
The president of Moderna said yesterday what's most scary about this virus is it has managed to put all of its greatest hits into one variant.
So you mean to tell me that we have a new variant? Not only do we have a new variant, but this Omicron can actually mutate 50 times? Oh, we're a goner. Oh, we're definitely a goner. How do we cope with this? It's going to be more lockdowns. It's going to be more mandates. Oh man, what are we going to do now? Now, meanwhile, while we have this new COVID variant strand, you have people like Laura from Fox News who's saying that there's coronavirus in our bones. I'm not kidding you. You guys have to listen to this for yourselves. She actually believes that there's coronaviruses in our bones.
If they keep testing for different strains of coronavirus, we're going to be locked down for the rest of our existence. I had cancer. My oncologist is a specialist in bone cancer. And every oncologist who deals with bone cancer identifies hundreds of coronaviruses inside of our bones. They've created a problem that can never actually be solved. So they can justify whatever it is they want to do.
Now, I did my research. I looked up and down. I can't find nothing with nobody saying that there's coronaviruses in our bones. I don't know what doctor she's going to. She needs to change that doctor because they telling her disinformation. And why would they want to create more lockdowns, more mandates when this is actually hurting the presidents? It's actually hurting them. It's hurting Biden. It's hurting his approval rating. Because of all of this lockdown and mandates. I don't think this is his best interest to create more mandates and have more lockdowns. I just don't see it.
Confirmed case of the Omicron variant in the United States has just been confirmed. This one in Minnesota. We don't know much about the patient yet, except that they had only traveled domestically.
Health officials say that the man developed mild symptoms on November 22nd after going to an anime convention in New York City. 53,000 people attended that event between November 19th and the 21st.
Well, now the city wants those attendees to get a COVID test immediately, wear face masks, and practice social distancing until they get their test results back.
Lockdown? Meanwhile, while we're dealing with this new variant, we have these white nationalists who's actually walking at the Lincoln Memorial this past weekend. And they want us to believe that racism doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, then why is these white nationalists saying that they want to take our country back? From who? Who took it? Because black people not on top. Chinese people not on top of us. It's still white men in this country. So who you taking this country back? From yourselves? Oh.
White nationalist group known as the Patriot Front descended on the National Mall over the weekend. Its members wore masks. Some carried plastic shields. And according to their banner, they were marching, as they put it, to reclaim America. Joining me now, early start anchor and CNN correspondent Laura Jarrett, and back with us, CNN senior political analyst John Avalon. Look, we can agree that this one is too many, right? To see anyone marching a white supremacist to the Lincoln Memorial is a sight that none of us ever wants to see.
There's something almost too on the nose about having a bunch of guys dressed up like they're ready to go to war, dressed up with like battle armor and shields, because in their minds, the Civil War never ended, right?
Right.
And what they're chanting is always so telling. Reclaim America. When was America ever taken? And who was it taken from and by whom?
Well, they feel like it's been taken from white folks.
But since when are brown and black people ahead, right? So it's since when are
They're
white men
applying
still not on
logic to
top?
their anxiety.
My point is to say there's something so remarkable about having self-avowed white nationalists, white supremacists, marching on a memorial for somebody who signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yeah.
It just sort of exemplifies the country's ongoing struggle with racism.
Yeah, and look, the fact that we're seeing an acceleration in the wake of Charlottesville, that these are young folks and they're masking and they're carrying shields and battle armor, which of course is a sign of their own weakness. These are weak, anxious people trying to find definition and strength in this kind of militaristic white nationalist nonsense. The reason it's more than just a bunch of clowns trying to march on the Lincoln Memorial is the ADL found that this particular group, the Patriot Front, was responsible for 80% of the white supremacist propaganda found on campus and elsewhere in 2020. So, and it's a young person's movement. This isn't just a bunch of old cranks waving their fist at the sky about how the country is changing.
The leader's 23 years old.
I will tell you, they were wearing masks. One of the things I felt that was most chilling about Charlottesville was people walking around unmasked saying, here I am. I have no shame over this. You know, we are free to express ourselves because that's where we think we are in this country right now. They didn't want their identities known.
Yeah.
There.